What's going on, guys? Nick here. Welcome back for yet another video. Today I'm going to be going through the secret sauce of how Dial Technologies creates our proposals using a custom agent inside Notion, which is connected to Attio via the MCP. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I'm showing you our Notion page here. This is obviously filtered to this specific demo. We've got an accounts database where we have all of our accounts in here, and that's related to our proposals. So if I go into this specific proposal page here, you'll see that this proposal page has a proposal within it, and then it also has a research in context, and I'll show you why that's there and how this is getting there. So our custom agent is this proposal writer here, and this is the settings that we have. So we can obviously run the agent and, directly chat with the agent over here on the left. But the ways that we trigger this agent is when the agent is either mentioned or when a page is added to proposals. So effectively what we do is we have an automation so that way a proposal is created in the proposals database with an associated account that's coming from Attio. And then once that is created, this automation for this custom agent essentially kicks off using this page added in proposals trigger. And we'll come back to the instructions here. So we'll just gloss over that for a second here. It doesn't need web access because we don't want to pull in information from the web. We should have everything that we need based off of our discovery call. And then it's got access to several different pages. We have standard agreements. We have a template, obviously the proposals database it needs access to. It should be able to edit the content of the actual proposal and then obviously edit the content of the accounts database because it needs to make sure that it can go to the account and find the associated domain and whatnot. And then the other access here is the Attio MCP. So we've given it access to some of the read and write tools. For write tools, it's always ask, and for read tools, it's run automatically just for safe keeping. And in order to set this up, it's pretty straightforward. So this is already connected, but if you just click connect, it will essentially ask you to put in the MCP if it doesn't already populate, and then you OAuth login and you can provide some scopes there, but that's already connected, so we don't need to do that. And then I'll open up this page. So this is essentially the, kind of secret sauce or the contents. And so if you're interested in this page, let me know. I can send you a link, maybe drop a comment down below. But so you're a proposal writer for Dial Technologies. When a page is created in proposals database, you should automatically gather the context from Attio, create resource section on the main page, so on and so forth. So the workflow is, to go through this high level. So the workflow is to go through this pretty high level. We're going to get the related account. We're going to look up the company in Attio. We're going to store the resources on the main page. So that way we know that it searched and got the right emails and call transcriptions. And then we're going to create a proposal subpage. And then we're going to link an agreement based off of the service they're looking for, which is either the hourly service or the service agreement here. And so to get into a little bit more detail, essentially what this is saying is the proposal page that's created has an account relation property. The account relation has a domain. The domain should be used to look up the company in Attio, and it should go and look at deal information, contact details, previous interactions, notes, call transcriptions, recordings, so on and so forth, which are all stored in Attio. We use the call recording features in Attio. And then the resources will get stored on the main page. That way we have reference to them. It will create based off the proposal template the proposal, and then it will link to the specific service agreement based off of what service agreement we talk about. So in our sales calls or our discovery calls, we're doing these in a specific format. So that way the AI essentially here can determine which agreement that we need and the best way to set it up. Sometimes it's maybe giving them an option or steering the customer in a specific path, and that will be picked up by the AI there. The proposal format, we have a template, but there are some things in here that it has struggled with or that we wanted to make sure were really clear. So that goes through there. The writing style, pretty straightforward to give it some tone. We have the reference materials down here as well. And then if you're unsure or what the page structure should be, again, just some more guidance there. So I think really a lot of the information goes into the proposal template, and that's what's being used to really guide how the proposal is created and how it looks. So that is the proposal writer instructions. And so now let me go back to this specific proposal And so the research and content here, or context, is essentially showing you the Attio resource. So this is the link to the Attio company record. And then it's showing us, okay, we had a call recording here. We had an email thread. And so this is telling us that we didn't have any prior communications. They just directly booked a call with us. And then some key information from the contact. And so if I click in here, this is the actual proposal. And this is structured the way that the proposal template is. So some other things we would, add a logo here. And then we obviously take this link and share this with the customer. And so we've got who was proposed by, in discussion with, and then the main purpose, our key outcomes, the project summary, which goes through the timeline and the investment. So in this case, this is affinity to Attio migration. And then we have the specific deliverables here. So these specific deliverables here are going to be broken out with specific details. And then as we scroll down, we always have this section here for future scope. So the future scope here are things that we maybe talked about or they had questions about. What can Attio do X or can Attio do Y? What integrations can be built, things like that. So we don't include that necessarily in the proposal for the immediate work, but it also gives the customer an idea of what else is possible. And then we have a pretty standard thing. So how do we work together? We primarily work asynchronously. We use Slack. Meetings will only be held when needed with a clear purpose. We have the next steps here so they can click through and see kind of what the next steps are. And then it linked the appropriate service agreement here, which is a pretty standard contract that we have for all of our services. Unless it's, hourly, then obviously the payments and structures are a little bit different. So that will get linked there as well. And then once the customer reviews this and says they're good to go, we would send over, the invoice and the administrative things as well. And so this is a little peek into how we generate proposals here at Dial Technologies. If you found this helpful and you like the behind the scenes of how we are running the business at Dial Technologies, please do let us know. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified of our new videos. Cheers.